Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to another stream. Welcome to another, hopefully, entertaining stream. Yesterday was fun. Today should be better. We do have the Wiz on, the Wizard of Alts, or Wizard of Stocks, whichever you want to call him now. How are we doing, mate? Okay?
Mate, it's been good. I'm a little bit warm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think like everyone in the UK, this heat wave has been a bit unbearable, but I'm brilliant anyway. I sent you over a list of stuff to look at today, and I think hopefully we can share some bangers.
Yeah, hopefully. And yet it is absolutely sweltering, so no doubt we are going to have to take some breaks throughout to pull all this off that we're currently both wearing. Suppose today would be a day for being Stonksy, being right in the sea in your birthday suit, leaving a big trail of poo all the way to the sea. It would definitely be nice to have no clothes on now, that's for sure. But alas,
I agree.
Here we go. We got Pap. How we doing, mate? Great to see you. Jeff, how we doing? He's in the gym and needs no motivation. Let's hear those roars. Go on, mate. You give us your best roar in a sec. Go on. Go on. Come on, Jeff. You do it. I want you to sit there in the gym and just go to yourself. Roar. Say, I am the lion. I am the beast. That's what you want, Jeff. That's the motivation you need. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining. Make sure you do drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. If you're watching over on X, make sure you hop over to the YouTube channel. Do make sure you drop a sub as well. And yeah, we'll get into it. Obviously, finally had some movement on Bitcoin. This was a really nice little uptrend that we got. Low time frame this morning. Finally, obviously breaking out. And this is what we looked at yesterday. And as you can see, we've done exactly that. So props to anyone that was monitoring this yesterday that we obviously was looking out for. And we did finally get the break above. And we come up to here as expected. And there you go, ping. There's the ping right off that box. And then absorption. So where do we go from here is obviously an interesting question. You know, we've ran obviously a lot of stops, a lot of liquidity that was here, all on this downtrend from that very controlled and aggressive downtrend that we got on the hourly. We've obviously now ran it. So I could definitely see a retrace of some sort, perhaps today or tomorrow or whenever, to come down. Maybe we perhaps come and, you know, maybe SR test this area, the 105 area, and do something like this. Or we just hang around. You know, didn't mean to do with the high, but you know what I mean, consolidate perhaps, and then, you know, over the weekend or whatever, then take direction. But one thing's for sure, we had a lot of consolidation. You know, we had a good 5 days worth of consolidation nearly, and we finally got the pop, bang. So I don't think price may be in a rush to go anywhere just yet, but yeah, it's definitely good to see some volatility in it, mate.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a lot of volatility today when the session opens.
Yeah,
it's quite rare. So we've got what's called a triple witching Friday, which I think you spoke about it on the stream the other day. But essentially, it's 3 different derivative classes all expire on the same day. So you have 4 of them per year.
Yeah.
As sort of some of them will run quarterly. I think it's also quite rare because you've had a non-trading day before it.
Yeah.
So you've had a non-trading day before it, and I think a lot of this will bleed into Bitcoin and Ethereum because I think there's about $4 billion worth of Bitcoin and Ethereum options which expire today.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of people trying to cover positions.
Yeah, definitely. There definitely will. It's a fascinating day, and you know, especially for where the market is at the moment, anything that's heavily shorted could see a nice little squeeze, couldn't it? You know, anything that's heavily on the short side, we could see a squeeze up, whether, you know, that be in crypto or in TradFi. Stonksy, the man himself, the phantom naked swimmer pooper, is here. How are we doing, mate? We was only just talking about you just before you joined, saying that today is definitely a day to be a naked swimmer, innit, with how hot it is. Save says, I was told today that naked swimming is frowned upon at my local swimming pool. Ah, well, you know what? With your profits, mate, you could just make one in your back garden or get yourself a hot tub with the amount of money that you've made recently. Just buy yourself one of them swimming pool hot tubs, one of the proper professional ones. You'd be all right. You can get in naked then whenever. Just obviously, you know, if the neighbours are having a little look out the window, just give them a little wave. Say, come on, come join. Yeah, you might have a nice looking lady living next door. Jeff says, high frequency bot smashed a good one while I was sleeping. Low frequency bot is looking a good one. Yeah, the low frequency has been doing great. I think maybe try to have a look at them today on stream. Stonksy, hey, yes, Circle. We'll definitely be having a look at Circle. That's for sure. That has got a nice, another big pump pre-market. And Stonksy said the bots are back. The bots have been cooking. Now, obviously, yeah, we've had Bitcoin pump up. Stonksy caught this very nicely on the 5-minute. We'll just flick through some alts, and then we'll obviously move over to stocks, which is going to be the main attraction today with having Wiz on. So you can see everything's kind of following in Bitcoin's direction. Nothing too major from that I can see anyway. We have got green in the market, but particularly nothing too major on alts for where we are anyway. Obviously, Radium had a mega pump yesterday and is down today. That come pretty much down towards the origin after listing on Upbit. We've got Stacks doing well. Say, actually, there you go. Say had a good day yesterday. I think Say was up about 4 or 5% yesterday. And
yeah,
they're 8%
doing
today.
well. They're doing well. I got a Say hoodie today, actually.
Did you?
Yeah. Although it's quite amusing. It's a medium American, and it is massive.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a Say hoodie that's quite nice, sort of white cream, and a cap with Say and the Statue of Liberty on it, which is quite nice.
All right. Okay. Fantastic. I mean, yeah, that is massively outperforming everything in the market from what we've got on the watch list today. 8% up. And, particularly since Stonksy went on the double confirmation on the 5-minute, that famous double confirmation, up 25% nearly on that. So absolutely superb action over on Say. And then again, yeah, nothing too much. Aero's getting a retracement. Obviously, that had a giga pump. And that is pretty much it. So yeah, nothing too major over in crypto, apart from it's good to see some volatility. It's good to see some movement. Now, what we will do before we kick off into Wiz's list that he's put together, we'll just cover obviously the 2 crypto-related stocks that done superbly on Wednesday when the stock market was last open. Coinbase, absolutely fantastic. It finished Wednesday up 16%, and it is up to 306, which is a 4% gain pre-market. That's very good to see. Coinbase still running up, and Circle obviously closed nearly 34% up on Wednesday, and that is all the way up at 230, which gives it a mighty 15% gain nearly. I mean, what is going on?
Yeah,
I mean,
you just shown me 2 painful ones, Dave. Because
all right, okay,
I was very close to I was eyeing up some Coinbase calls.
Yeah,
and then it just had the pump out of nowhere, and obviously Circle, I've bought some puts on Circle, and I think given the pumps now, they're probably down about sort of 70%. So,
yeah.
So I think I'll be buying more. I like it. I like this, but I think it is massively overvalued.
I mean, it's coming
massively. Well,
it's coming into territory now, innit, of where you're like, this is definitely like parabola in it on this.
Yeah.
And it, obviously nothing goes up in a straight line forever. It's also a new IPO. Eventually, I don't know when. Obviously, we could get this bullish price action carrying on or whatever. But, we're not talking about some illiquid altcoin or anything here. Eventually the price will pull back and, the chart will come and fill in where it needs to. I'd be shocked if the price never went under $100 again.
Great minds think alike, Dave. That's where my puts are. So I bought puts for, I think I bought December puts at $100.
Yeah.
So the closer it gets to $100, better for me. But they should be a pretty good gain at this point. I think it can't go up much further. It feels like it's topping out.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane, isn't it, really, when you think about it? And apart from that stablecoin bill that is getting passed or got passed, whatever, there's no other real reason for this pump, is there?
No.
It's not had any earnings. It's just being pumped on, obviously, excitement and speculation.
Well, they don't actually make a huge amount of profit because obviously they pay a lot for distribution of USDC.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing I'd be looking at for this is the impact of is both the impact of the interest rates. I think as interest rates fall and treasury rates begin to fall, we'll see this begin to fall. And also, I think we're seeing more and more companies and banks issue their own stable coins.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I think the only gripe I have with the stablecoin bill is that they're in the wording, it forbids yield-bearing coins, and so every time they're issued, customers like me and you can't access the yield on it. However, companies like Circle can.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I think that probably goes, for me, that goes against the ethos of crypto.
Yeah. Well, I think I might be taking a short CFD on this on open. So I do have some questions about that because I did. So I put in a long. I don't have it open anymore because I was kind of confused on how they actually work. But I put in a long CFD on Bull. I think it was early last week,
Yeah.
and say for instance it was £100, and you can go all the way up to I think 5x in it, so like £500
So it's
worth.
fixed. Yeah, so it's fixed 5x. I think on CFDs,
Yeah.
at least on there. Yeah.
Yeah. So say for instance you use £300, which is obviously a 3x in it.
Yeah.
When
the leverage is fixed.
Yeah.
The leverage on it's fixed. Yeah.
Yeah. So when the leverage is fixed. So say you've got £100 in your account and you choose £300 worth of short CFD to sell. What amount of margin will that use then out of your £100?
So if you've got £100 on it, depending on what the margin requirements are, I think on 212, the margin where you begin to get margin called is 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd be able to from £100 to leave a 50% margin to avoid being called, you'd have £50, which would buy you a £250 position, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I was kind of confused as to what was going on because I instantly opened this CFD long, and then my margin health went down to like 53%, and then obviously at that point it alerts you, and then at 25%, I think it is, you get a
that's where you
margin
get
called.
liquidated. Yeah.
But what I found interesting is obviously I had £100 in the account, and then I looked at the stop loss, and around $8 on it was the full lot, the full liquidation.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not kind of how it works, is it? Obviously that's how it works on exchanges. You could leave, you could basically leave to be liquidated or glory, couldn't you?
You can't isolate it on here.
Yeah. So it's a bit interesting because obviously I wouldn't mind trying a little CFD short on here. So maybe once the market opens, we can have a look at. I'll do that, and then maybe we can talk through.
Yes. So
maybe
there's two. Yeah. So there's two ways. So there's two ways to do it. So obviously you've got the CFD, which is quite common in Europe, and it's tax free.
Yeah.
The other option that I like for certain stuff like this is from options.
Yeah.
So options, basically they'll cap your downside. So you basically lose whatever the premium is.
Mm-hmm.
And there is, I think you might be able to get it on the web app, but on TradingView there's a really good simulator curve that tells you like the probability of it hitting your price, what the premiums are, what your return is.
Yeah.
It's on. So if you go on under products and it's under options, and you get this thing called a strategy builder, and you choose what type of option. It shows you like what type of price, what your max loss is, what your delta is, because you can get, and this is where it sort of gets into a bit more of the advanced stuff, but stuff that I like is you have what's called a straddle. So I'm in a couple of straddles at the moment so a straddle is where you essentially buy options on both sides. So you buy both calls and puts, hoping to profit for volatility. So on a straddle, you'll lose money if the price stays where it is.
Yeah.
If the price goes up massively, your calls will be very profitable, but you'll lose the premiums on the puts, and vice versa. But sometimes if you buy the long dated ones, yeah, sometimes you can be able to swing both ways.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm just looking on now. So obviously with Circle's pump pre-market, it's now got a market cap of 44 billion.
It's obscene, isn't it?
Which there is 61 billion in USDC, but obviously, they don't own that. They'll obviously be able to get yield on a lot of it, but they don't own all that. Which is just it's crazy, isn't it? How fast it's pumped. So I think I'm going to have a little go on it anyway. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting because I think it's definitely looking like it's overpriced for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see what happens with that, and I will see if I'm successful with correctly opening one of these on open. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's kick off anyway into your list. So what do you want to go through first? Do you want to go through AI, crypto, or defense technology, healthcare stocks, or energy?
I think if we give a quick overview on defense, because that's probably in this current session probably one of the focus points.
Yeah. Okay.
I've chosen quite big. These are quite big stocks, so these are more where I see these. And some of them have already started to run a little bit. It's more of a hedge.
Yeah.
So some of these I'll buy as a hedge. So
what I'm going to do, I'm just going to create a new watch list so we can create it all separate. So should we just go down?
RTX. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So RTX, we had LMT.
Yeah.
Lockheed Martin. We have HO, which is Thales. Euronext Paris. Yeah, that's the one. We have NOC, Northrop Grumman.
Yeah.
And we have BAE. And that's on the UK exchange. There we are. Got the BAE Systems. Yeah, down. Sorry.
This one. London Stock Exchange. Yeah. Now let me see. You
can set up. You can set up sections. So add section. It's add section. Yeah.
Where's that? Yeah.
So if you click on add section.
Oh, add section there. Yeah. Yeah. So let me rename. So this is defense. We'll put all these in here to keep it nice and neat, so we know exactly what is going on. There we go. Right, so we'll just go top down, shall we? So the one on the top, we've got. And what do you want me to pull these on, like the daily?
Yeah, well, I like long time frames on this. So as we can see, BAE, it's run up quite a lot. So BAE are a British manufacturer. My thesis for this is that we have a NATO summit coming up. I'm pretty sure it's next week now. It's crept up, and obviously there's been a big push from some of the NATO members to increase spending on European weapons, and obviously BAE are probably the by far the largest European manufacturer. It's a fairly safe stock. They're pretty good at what they do. It's more sort of, so I've opened up some positions on this just in case that we see some big announcement and some big orders come in.
Yeah. Okay, it's fantastic. I mean, it's ran up absolutely superbly since the start of the year, hasn't it? That's up nearly. It's edging on 100% up. Yeah. And Stonksy's done it very nice on the daily there as well. So that is great to see. So the next one is
good old Northrop Grumman.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting one. So these guys make and it's quite interesting because this one will be in the news a lot. So if the US were to strike Iran, using those bunker buster bombs, the only plane that is capable of flying those is something called the B-2 bomber.
Right.
And the B-2 bomber is made by Northrop Grumman.
Okay.
I think there's about 10 of them in the world left. Obviously, the US has all of them. and they're split between Diego Garcia and a base in Missouri. They're a bit of a mad plane, Dale, in all honesty, Dave, can fly for so long. So they're able, obviously they get refueled on the way, but these planes are able to fly around the entire world non-stop.
Oh, wow.
Without being refueled. So when the US does missions, if they weren't Garcia, they'd be able to fly the B-2 out of America, drop its load on Iran, and then fly round the world and back to America. Which I think is a bit nuts.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? The fact that it can do that. That is, that's wild. How it doesn't need to stop.
Yeah, so you have air-to-air refueling, but obviously, which is how a lot of sort of the fighter jets go. But the fighter jets would struggle to fly this far because the engines would obviously overheat, etc. And the maintenance. But this thing's just a machine; it just flies and flies and flies. As long as you put fuel in it, it flies. Although it doesn't fare well in rain, is an interesting fact. So the rain damages its paint, which is where it gets its stealth from.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, rain isn't good.
A bit of a funny design, isn't it?
Yeah. So we
build all this stuff, but they can't build a waterproof rain that'll keep it stealthed.
It's crazy. Yeah. So we see Jeff in the chat when we had the first kickoff of the Afghan war. They'd do 24-hour missions, take off from the States, drop the business, and come home in a single trip.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know if this is if it's like people just doing it for clicks and stuff like that. But I was seeing over social media yesterday that American forces are being given steak and lobster, or steak and crab or something in it, which I think isn't that the sign of impending war?
Potentially so. It'll be interesting anyway. I think to see sort of how it plays out. I think the dates to keep an eye on. I mentioned this in the Discord, but Fridays are always really interesting because if you ever take military action or go to war, it usually happens on a Friday because then you get the market close. So when Russia went into Ukraine, it was on a Friday. I think when obviously Israel did this first attack on Iran, that was on a Friday. The previous skirmishes have been on a Friday. I'm pretty sure we went into Iraq and Afghanistan on a Friday as well. Friday tends to be when it happens because it gives you the weekend for things to stabilize. If it was done like midweek, then obviously have a lot of panic in the market, whereas it gives that sort of 2 or 3 days to settle.
Yeah, definitely. Makes sense. It makes perfect sense. I didn't know that.
Then,
I think it would. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how the market's reacting to it, because I don't think. I mean, when was the last time we saw the US directly involved in a war?
Would
it be Afghanistan? Would it be the Afghan war when they was actually directly involved? Obviously, they've had the say in Ukraine and stuff, haven't they? But
Afghan was probably the last boots on the ground. But there's been strikes. They struck Libya. They struck Syria. They've continued doing striking in Iraq. And then so what do we have here? So we've got Thales. So this company they are the manufacturer of the predominant European missiles. So the ones that were given to Ukraine, the Storm Shadow or Scalps.
Yeah.
This is the company that makes them. And one of the NATO comments is that Europe needs far more missiles than it has currently, and to replenish stocks, which is obviously why you've got the run up from February onwards as they buy more European missiles rather than American missiles.
Right, yeah.
But they've got a massive backlog of orders, and I think if we were to hear from NATO that we're seeing more missiles being produced in Europe, this will be the main beneficiary of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And another one greatly caught by Stonksy there, up from 155. currently up at 246, and yeah, I mean, it's been on a huge run of over recent years. So yeah, great looking chart. So the next one is we looked at this, didn't we? I think
everyone's favorite, the Lockheeds. Now this is an interesting one. I think it's in a really interesting spot because you're seeing more and more countries move away from European. We see more and more European entrants. So obviously Airbus are now producing them, and Europe is beginning to produce some of its own fighter jets to reduce reliance on the US. The French have always produced their own fighter jets. They don't tend to buy outside of that, so they run the Rafale, and you see a lot of BAE jets in the UK under the Typhoon. However, obviously the F series have always been like the best fighter jets we've seen in the US, and I think given that we've seen basically the Israeli Air Force dominate in Lockheed Martins, whether this prompts some countries, particularly in the Middle East, to buy more of these. I think what we've seen is probably the single greatest advert you could see for Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know when it was when we last looked at this, but yeah, it's got an evident resistance zone here, hasn't it? If it breaks above there, then it's definitely game on to the upside.
Run back up.
Yeah. And this is one that you mentioned quite a lot in it.
So RTX do the advanced US missiles and drones. So obviously you can see this chart is slightly different to Lockheed Martin in the fact that this is just fairly relentless. Like, yeah, you just look at that, it's straight up. But yeah, they do a lot of advanced missiles, RTX.
Right.
So again, playing on that missile and air defense point of view, I think if we see a protracted add a section, Dave. So if you add a section, if you press add section,
no, it's not a list, is it? Yeah, I keep.
If you click add section,
list, yeah,
and then click down on that, you should then be able to add. So what do we have next? Should we go over some AI stuff?
Yeah, let's
get
do
more
it.
Exciting.
Let's do AI, yeah. So if I click down, down on that.
Click that plus.
Yeah.
And you should be able to, yeah. So what have we got? So we've got BBAI, which technically is a defense stock, but
we'll put it in there anyway.
We'll put it in. We've got SERV, SERV, sorry.
Yeah.
SERV Robotics. We've got Soon, SOUN.
Yeah, I remember Soon from the for the times you talked about it.
NN0X. Nano X Imaging. We've got everyone's favorite CoreWeave, CRWV.
Oh yeah, what a beast.
NBIS.
Yeah.
Love Nebius. We've got Light, LITE.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lumentum Holdings. We've got SGE.
Oh.
G.
SGE. The Sage Group.
Yeah, Centilene. We've got VRT. Yeah, Vertiv Holdings.
Yeah.
Yeah. INOD.
Yeah.
Innodata. Yeah. We've got Amber, AMBA. I really like this one. Umbrella, yeah.
Amberella.
PDYN.
Oh. I'll have to go and delete that in a sec.
Yeah. Paladine AI. And we've got Bill. Yeah, Bill Holdings. And WRD.
Weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So
right, let me get rid of that. Okay, well, we'll just do the same then. We'll go down. Obviously, BBAI is one that you've discussed in the Discord. You discussed it on stream. Well, in the chat.
Could be another Palantir.
Yeah. So that is, looking very nice. Obviously, currently low time frame. I've been looking at it to hold this area, which it looks like it's done, which is good to see.
Yeah, nice bounce off.
And then, of course, most recently, obviously pumped up to above $10 in February, back down, retested for support, held, and then has been kind of creeping up, hasn't it, so far? So, yeah, really nice one. So I'll let you take the lead on the rest because I don't really know much about.
Yeah, so Serve Robotics. It says what it is on the tin. It's a future robotics company. Yeah, really like this one. I think this is one I quite like to play around with this one because it as you can see, it's quite volatile. I think if you're looking for something fun to trade, this is it. If you're looking for something to hold, this is also it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a fun one to have, certainly on a watch list, because I think over the long course, it will go up. But as you can see, the candles every single day are quite big. And it moves really well, I find. Like, we look sort of obviously with the oscillator there, but it just respects that oscillator so well.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice push up that. And, since April, it's comfortably over 2x, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is, really nice push up. And of course, all-time high towards, 20 all the way up to $24, that kind of area. So, still over a 2x towards its all-time high on that as well.
Really small as well. I think it's the market cap's only about $1 billion, I think.
Is it?
But it's very early stage.
Yeah. Now, I do remember the name of this, but I don't remember what it is that it does.
So this is voice and language AI. So they've got quite a lot of deals in automotive and fast food. So I think you'll see a lot of when you see sort of AI ordering in I don't know, things like drive-throughs or sort of in-car systems. This will be there. They were and I guess sort of a bit about some of my thesis. So several of these companies are either invested in by NVIDIA, or NVIDIA has invested in them and has now divested in them. So NVIDIA had bought a stake in this, which is why you had that big initial run up. I think they've taken some profits on it, but as you can see, it's incubated quite well, and they sit on quite a nice pile of cash. They've got plenty of deals coming in, and I think they could run. I think it could run quite well. It's held its range really well.
Yeah, it's held solidly, and it obviously retrace back to a point of retest here, pushed up, and then since May, it's been obviously comfortably holding this kind of late $8 into $9 region here, support. This kind of area. That
big liquidity box at the top around sort of $12 is one that I think will get cleared out.
Yes, definitely something interesting to keep an eye on. So the next one, Nano X Imaging.
So this is another NVIDIA one. So this is like AI X-rays.
Right, okay.
It's a pretty horrible looking chart on the high time frame, but this one for me is a little bit of a gamble. Like, it's a really small market cap. It's one of those which I think is worth putting a little bit in, not financial advice, and it is one that could either be run or will get bought out.
Yeah,
is my view on it.
Yeah. It's not the best looking chart, but these are the ones, obviously, if it gets any sort of attention or news and stuff, these are the ones that run the hardest, aren't they? That the quickest.
Yeah. And at $5, like, you're looking at big gains. Everyone's favorite CoreWeave.
I mean, this must be the hot one on Wall Street now, mustn't it? I'm annoyed
I sold too early to I did very well on this one. Again, really interesting story. Ethereum miner, and then from the Ethereum merge, they pivoted to AI, which I've said time and time again is the theory. I think you'll see more of these crypto miners pivot to AI because the opportunity is so big and they're so well positioned.
Yeah.
And every Bitcoin mining company will be looking at this thinking, we should be following this. And I think it'll be interesting once you get to the end of the bull run. There's so much money in AI, so many data center companies desperate to fund this stuff, and they'll be sitting on big amounts of Bitcoin. I think you'll see a lot of companies pivot to this. Also, Nvidia. This is Nvidia's biggest holding, so I think about 90% of Nvidia's investments are in CoreWeave.
Huge, yeah. I mean, this was one where I sit here thinking now, like, you know, obviously of all the ones you've said, this is the one where I'm like, God damn it! Like, I wish I would have got in this.
That IPO price was that IPO price was so good. Like, it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, even here, you know, you had a good like 2 weeks nearly to buy around $40, which is obviously now 310% up, or you know, that's obviously a 4x translated into X's. So, you know, $10,000 is obviously worth over 40,000 in this scenario. Super run up. Again, it's one of them where, you know, no matter how strong you do assume at some point it will get a pullback. Yeah. Obviously, for what it's in, and you know, like you said, who's invested in it. I wouldn't confidently say where this would pull back. Like, I confidently said circle back below $100. This I have no idea, but you know, in the event it ever came kind of back in anywhere towards the origin, I would definitely have a punt on it, because you would probably see a pretty lengthy consolidation and then maybe it go again.
Yeah, obviously, or you'd have a look around that sort of 100 barrier where we saw that major pullback to retest. It's probably the second entry zone I'd look at. Yeah, around there. You see quite a lot of volume around there. Yeah, but obviously you'd invalidate if it went below sort of that sort of 90 figure.
But yeah,
Nebius, this was
unbelievable.
Nebius, this is another one. Kudos to anyone in the Discord, because I was chatting about this for a while, and as you can see, it had that really sort of solid run up. I think a few people in the Discord actually caught it, so they're sitting on a nice price. This came in when I was in the Isle of Man, so it paid for quite a lot of pints. But yeah, this is another one that could do a CoreWeave. Really advanced AI. AI as a service, I think, is like the next big thing. And obviously that's the pond that CoreWeave fishes in. It's the pond that MBIS fishes in. MBIS is another one that NVIDIA has a stake in. At the latest disclosures, they may have divested, but they have. NVIDIA was a funder of this.
Yeah, NVIDIA reminds me of like what Tether is in crypto. So obviously, Tether is basically just invested in everything. You know, they have investment in mining, obviously, just pretty much anything that they want. Obviously, they're deeply invested into AI. But in terms of the AI sector, like NVIDIA is obviously, you know, the top one invested in, obviously all the lower ones. And that kind of reminds me of what it is. You know, Tether basically just have so much money that, you know, anything remotely that they want to invest in crypto-wise or Bitcoin-wise, they go and do that. And, you know, they've just got the fingers in all the pies. So, definitely, you know, them two companies for their own industries, very, very similar. It makes me wonder. I mean, you know, we've seen Circle run up so hard. I wonder, you know, the potential one day, or, you know, if it ever happens, of Tether going public. Just how crazy that was. And to be fair, actually, like the response to it, because obviously Tether has always been the one on it where it's been shunned, and, you know, obviously loads of FUD and that. Maybe it wouldn't get the love from TradFi at first. You know, maybe
it's not American. And to be honest, they don't need to go public.
No.
In all honesty, They don't need to go public.
Yeah, so I don't know what they'd have to do to get
because
on.
their margins are a lot lower. Yeah,
I don't know what they'd do to get onto the Nasdaq. Like, I don't know how they'd have to open a
they
headquarters
wouldn't. They
in the
wouldn't
US.
comply with a lot of the stuff. It's no. But this, I'd look for any entries below $40 for that retest. May be an interesting one. And failing that, you potentially see if it came back towards either that consolidation range at $20 to $24, or you'd look at those big gaps. But stocks are a little bit different to crypto. Like, the fair value gaps can be left. You don't see them get filled as often as you do in crypto. So
I think it's harder to chart stocks than crypto, obviously, just because of the gaps. You know, it's not like, I think maybe most people think, oh, CME gap, you know, kind of the same. It's not really anything remotely similar, is it? Like, you know, you can see all this mess on the chart. You know, you can see all these gaps, and it literally means nothing, really. It does make it a little bit harder.
Market closure. You don't have market closure in there.
Yeah, it makes crypto. It a bit harder to plot, but I mean, you know, looking at that straight away, you know, you can see obviously Stonksy's plotted it here, but you can evidently see, you know, anywhere in and around kind of, you know, this kind of like $4 range I've drew here, you know, that's clearly resistance. So you can still chart it, and, you know, you can still trade it the same. You just maybe have to draw your boxes maybe a little bit bigger, or however you want to do it, but you know, they can all still be charted the same. But yeah, the gaps and stuff. Mainly the gaps to watch out for on the S&P and Nasdaq. If you want to look for gaps, obviously, they're the gaps to look out for on the indices. Not so much on the stocks themselves.
Yeah, and the issue you've got a lot with the S&P index and the Nasdaq index is it's so heavily weighted towards the big boys, towards that Mag 7 still. But yeah, an interesting one. What we've got next on the list? Lumentum.
Yeah.
Big data center business. So what do they do? So they are sort of some of the optical networking. As you can see, revenue's quite good.
Yeah, great earnings.
And growing. And obviously, data center is nuts. Like, Nvidia's data center earnings are nuts, and I think this is the direction of travel. Slam straight into supply, and I think once we see a proper breakout of that, we go into price discovery again.
Yeah, you can see there, can't you? Again, another example. You know, you can just see one touch, two touch, push in, fail, rejection here again. Obviously, push in again, price action all in here, falls off, rejection again here, touch, you know, rejection. So again, you know, this is an example where you just take a big old box and just have, like, you know, that's like a 10% range or so. But you can see, you know, all the way back for the past 5.5 years, this is where price has topped out. Obviously, it's had times where it's, you know, popped up there for a day or two. Here, you know, a couple of days, maybe a week, eventually sold off. So yeah, it looks around, you know, a bit to be about that, you know, $100 mark, doesn't it? That big psychological, big round number. But yeah, like you say, you know, I mean, after that period of time, you would imagine a break above that would be explosive, you would think.
Yeah. Just a few big orders.
Yeah.
Then we've got Sage. I think this one might be familiar to UK people. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Sage, Dave?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
So it's enterprise software, but they began to enter more of the AI space. And I think with AI, you'll see a lot more, certainly businesses in that small to medium range begin to automate more of their stuff. And I think this is a good enterprise play on that. And UK stocks are interesting because as the dollar's got so strong against both the pound and the euro, a lot of UK companies now are trading at low PEs, and American financiers begin to look more attractive. So it'd be interesting. So I know that you're seeing a lot of international money flooding into the London Stock Exchange because the pound's so low, and I think this is one which may see some buying pressure. I think the zones are pretty obvious. I think if we break above that sort of £13 region, who knows where we go from there. but it's run up. It's still quite cheap for what it is, and I think it could do quite well.
Yeah, for sure. It looks, again, like a few of the others, just needs to break above this resistance point, doesn't it? This where supply's coming in, and then it's got clear skies above it. Obviously, never been above there, so it's just a matter of time. So we're in a funny place, aren't we, with stocks, where you can pull up loads of things that are just like going into price discovery or close. Like the market is booming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Over in stocks. This thing, I mean, look at that.
Good old Vertiv.
Nice V reversal on that.
Yeah. So again, data center play. So they do a lot of the thermal management. Obviously, data centers get very hot. So they do a lot of the thermal management for data centers. So I think most recent earnings, you can see it's that green E just before May. They had quite good earnings, which we can see the pump off. We see a little surprise. Paid the dividend, and then we look, and just before August is. So a lot of these I find with stocks, if you're wanting to trade them, play them around the earnings. So you can see this one starting to rally up, and we see the earnings in sort of, I think if you click on the earnings, is that in August? No, just before, so July.
Yeah, 23rd of July.
So this will be an interesting one as to where it goes from earnings. So it may rally up. It may rally up. It may pull back if it disappoints. But I think given sort of where we've seen the earnings, and given where we're seeing data centers, it could continue to go up.
Yeah, absolutely. Really nice price action on that. Nice and volatile. So the next one is Innodata.
Yes. So this is AI model training and data management. It's nuts, isn't it?
Look at that. It was less than $1. And it was less than $1 for forever. Did not move at all, did it really?
It was before data centers were a thing, wasn't it? And then once we see ChatGPT launch, I think ChatGPT launched in 2022, didn't it? So 2023, 2022. So you see that big run up, consolidate, and then off it flies.
Really, really nice. And another one that's not too far away from going into price discovery as well.
Yeah, and you look at where it got to when Trump came in.
Yeah,
you're looking at sort of 20% upside.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really nice. Nice looking chart, and again, you can see it here. But depending on obviously where you personally would draw resistance and supply, but I think around you can see it all along here. Did get a push over, but that ended up being a deviation. So I would draw it around there, but maybe you'll have it drawn a bit differently. Umbrella, I'm interested in this one because I like the name of it.
I love Umbrella. This is a really interesting AI stock. So they do a bit of everything.
Yeah.
They do a bit of everything, but as you can see, it's traded in that range and not really broken out. It's hard to say exactly what they do because they do so much. It's one of those companies that just sort of has a finger in every pie. But yeah, we see that sort of drop down on the from the Trump drop down. We've seen a lot of profit taking. It had quite a good run up. It's again a lot of AI stuff. We see AI spending go up, and I think from a capex point of view in AI, we've got to a point where there's no capital discipline. It's just if it's good and it benefits our AI, we'll buy it. And I think you're seeing a lot of companies that are really sort of riding that wave.
Yeah, really, and it's not too far away, is it? From obviously, it's most recently bounced off it, but this area here between like $45 down all the way to maybe like 38-ish is definitely high time frame demand. So
they do a lot of chips. So it's a chip play.
Yeah. And obviously, the potential of it, should it get going, again, it's another one where you can see, it's got a clear kind of range marked out. But above that, then obviously it then starts targeting potentially to come and challenge all of this along here, which could see it do about, all the way back towards the top is obviously a 4x from here, but could look like it could comfortably get a 2x. Obviously, should it get some momentum again. Really, really nice. This one is
Paladin
another one.
AI.
I mean, yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? All of these charts look great. Obviously, some of them maybe are at the lower end, bouncing off support, and then obviously ones like this, as many of the others are kind of just waiting to go, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think when we have stocks is I think when you've got the levels, the way I like to look at them, and I know I don't tend to use them in crypto, but trend lines are I find really good for these types of stocks where it's sort of that more linear stuff. So if you put a trend line on from that December, it's just riding it up beautifully.
Yeah,
it's yet to break it if you sort of have it as a nice slant.
Yeah. Really, really nice.
All the way back to the impulse.
Yeah, there we go. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Riding it very nicely. Bill.
So they do AI billing. AI billing, very low cap.
Yeah, I was going to say it's obviously coming all the way back down towards the bottom end of its price action, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is another one that may get bought out. I think this one I'd treat as a lotto pick. So this is one that I'll buy a little bit on, and if it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, I'm covered by everything else. But I think it's at a point where we say the same with altcoins, don't we? Like when it gets to that sort of, is it bottoming out?
Yeah.
This I think is a prime example of, like, I'm happy to buy it if it goes down further. I've just lost what I've put in. I've not put a whole lot in, but the upside is, look, I mean, if it runs to where it was
potentially,
when got in,
many X potentially.
Yeah, you've got a 2.5x if it goes back to where it was in January. So,
yeah, really, really nice. Really nice price action, potentially to come. Obviously, coming back into a key zone. We did retest this, just dip into this zone here. So I mean, yeah, the opportunity is obviously potentially multiple X's depending on if things go right for it. But, even
you look at that massive gap,
massive
gap from earnings.
Just like January, February's levels is a 2x from here. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Weird.
Yeah, we ride. This is a Chinese robo-taxi company. So this is another one of those lotto plays. I think if taxis get on, they did have a partnership with Uber. Obviously, we know that Tesla are going for this area in the US, but I mean, it's one of those charts where if you look at it, it's a lotto. It's one good deal and one piece of news away from a giga pump, like that pump when Uber invested in it.
Yeah, look at
that. It's just one of those. It's a lotto play, and I think you've got to have some of these in your portfolio. You've got the safe stuff, and you've got this, and this is purely a lotto play.
Yeah, I mean that opened 108% up on that day, which is insane, isn't it? Did go as high as 134%. Oh no, even more. Not drew that down there correctly. 147% it did, and then opened 109%. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, you'd have been absolutely buzzing with that if you were an investor in that. Obviously, down here, it's always tricky to try and buy the blood in it.
As well as it's going to stop, and I think my approach to stocks that I tend on 2-on-2 with stuff like this. I tend to put them as a small allocation of a small allocation of like what I'm holding, and I'll just put a little bit in. And if one runs really hard like this, I'll sell it and redistribute. I've got one more AI stuff that I didn't send over to you that I really, really like. So it's Snowflake.
Yeah,
I don't know if people have heard of Snowflake. It's quite a big company. But they do data warehousing, and I really, really like Snowflake.
Ah, okay.
I've done quite well on this. It's a buy and hold for me, and continues to be a buy and hold.
Yeah.
And as we can see, it's come down a little bit from where it was when it launched in the pandemic. But yeah, really, really, I really like this. I think it's a good company. Data warehousing.
Yeah, and the thing is, that is just like one super long consolidation range in it, accumulation. Obviously, failure break up, failure break down, but for 3 years, it's pretty much just gone sideways. So that is a super long consolidation. So the breakout looks like it started, unless obviously it drops back below. But while it remains above this kind of 194 level where Stonksy's got that drew, looks absolutely great to maybe trickle all the way back up to here.
It reruns the COVID highs. You're looking at about a 2x from here, which on a stock that has a market cap well into the billions, and it generates a lot of money. We've got SMFC in, so I'm happy to run through some of my farmer picks. I'm on the lookout for some new ones.
We've also got Bobby, Discipline, Delta. All the boys are in. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're enjoying it. What do you want to do next then, mate?
Let's go farmer. Let's go farmer, and we can talk about. So there's some that I wouldn't advise buying now because they've already run.
Yeah.
So we've got Verve. I think everyone loves Verve. That one. If people call it that one. RXRX.
Yeah.
We've got NVO, Novo Nordisk.
I've just realised what I've done as well. You notice what I've done.
Oh, have you started adding them to the...
I wrote farmers in like actual farming. Like fucking John Deere and stuff. Go on, carry on, mate. We got MVO.
So we've got MVO. Hims is quite a funny one.
Yeah.
We've got Nutex. I think possibly one of my favourite tickers in terms of the name.
Sounds like a naughty website, doesn't
it? We've got Absci, ABSCI. Absci Corp. Not Corp.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Go on.
And then LTRN. Lantern Farmer. And POAI.
Okay, let's do it. Same as last time. We'll go top down. So Verve. I mean, this thing ran super, super hard, didn't it? Ran super, super hard. What was the meaning of this pump again?
They got acquired by Eli Lilly, or are about to be acquired by Eli Lilly. So they do a lot of gene editing. I'd like to say I know a lot about gene editing, but I think SMFC is your man for that. But it's one of the strategies I look at pharma companies who are using AI to create and test stuff. And these pharma companies will then usually get taken over by big pharma in an M&A. And so you're essentially buying a potential future buy, if that makes sense. So a lot of these are... It's like playing the lotto. I think sometimes if you get one that does something that's really good, I think the way to play these, have a look at what they're innovating on, if there's anything that's going through approvals, what it aims to address, and just have a little punt, because obviously if they get it right, then it does quite well. Yeah.
Fantastic. RXRX next.
Yeah. AI pharma company again, out of the NVIDIA investment fund. I mean, the candles on this are nuts. So this is another one which, if it flies to where it was, you've got decent upside from holding. But if you want something that's volatile to trade, that moves good percentage a day, this is it. So like look, it's up what 5% today. If you'd bought a CFD on that at 5x, you'd be up 25%. And you can just rinse and repeat. I think the levels on this are so clear.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've got clear SR here, haven't we? High time frame SR. You can see obviously when it's dropped, even all the way back to here from when it dropped down, all along here. Obviously support, drop below, resistance. So you got clear flip of SR that you could look out for as well. Above, definitely above $6. Looks like the confirmed flip.
Yeah, and another one, earnings coming up in September.
Yeah.
They do make losses, but if they do begin to break even, and it's so small a market cap, it's one of those where if they have a good earnings, it begins to fly.
Yeah, really nice. MVO?
You've got the wrong one here. It's NVO.
NVO.
Yeah, Novo Nordisk.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That's the one.
Right, we'll leave that for now. Then we'll go down.
HIMS is. So this is. I'm trying to think of the best UK example, but it's basically sort of like telehealth. Sort of like the online pharmacies where you buy your medication.
Yeah.
I don't know what to compare it into the UK, because obviously we've got the NHS, but it's a bit like
QVC, but for medicine.
Yeah, they sell a lot of different medicines.
Just like if you could buy medicine on Amazon.
Boots, yeah. So it's like the online version of Boots for the US, where you just buy medication and you buy prescription medications below what you'd pay at a pharmacy.
Right, yeah. I mean,
this one's got a bit of a cult following. It's big on Reddit. It's one that Wall Street Bets likes because there tends to be quite a lot of short interest on it.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. It's just gone up only, hasn't it, for years? And particularly, on the pullback that we got in April. I mean, that come back into obviously a key retest area, and it's done nearly 3x since then. So, price action on it is second to none. That is super.
I wouldn't be diving in at this price. I'd be looking further down.
This is definitely one, if it comes back in at any point, to this demand zone that it's formed here, and it holds again, then, it's obviously you've got clear invalidation, and I think if it breaks below that, then, potentially.
Yeah, and you potentially look at that volume node around sort of that $32 mark.
Yeah.
Where you've got that sort of volume node, that might be a bounce spot.
Nutex.
Yeah, telehealth. Look at that. Comes back into that perfect range to retest, doesn't it? Up, pull back into a range, goes.
I like it. And do you know what really strikes me though? Is just the difference between these stocks that we're looking at and altcoins. That's what strikes me the most, is the difference between how these stocks are performing, and you go over to altcoins, and bar a couple, it's literally just like depression in it.
Yeah.
Where these, you've got stocks doing 3x since February. You've got stocks doing absolutely unbelievable. I mean, this thing has done, in March it was down at $40. It reached nearly 200. So that's nearly a 5x. It's
they make money. That's the difference between these and altcoins. They make money and they're not being sold off by the management. I know obviously this one missed earnings a little bit, but it's only still making money. Look.
Yeah, it only missed its earnings per share though. Like the actual revenue was up 57%.
Yeah.
Like earnings per share it missed. I'm not sure exactly why. I don't know really the full breakdown into the correlation between these two or not, but revenue wise, 57% up on what they estimated.
Yeah, and another one coming into earnings in August. So maybe consolidate over summer if they get a really good earnings and that goes profitable. That goes not profitable because they're already profitable, but if they've been making a lot of money, we might see this go to past that sort of 200 mark.
Yeah. Okay, so That is right. So next one is ABSI.
Yep, ABSI again, AI science. Could do well, could not, but it's come back into that sort of very clear range. So we see if we go all the way back to what is that, March 2024. Yeah, AI and science, I think is a really interesting use case. Yeah. And NVIDIA always give the game away. If you ever want to know where the future of AI is going, look at NVIDIA, look at A, what they're investing in, and B, what they're plastering all over their website, and they'll tell you exactly where AI is going and what the use cases are. And science is, you see all of this stuff about D-Sci and AI science in the traditional world. I mean, it I think will do quite well, and I think is a good theme to go in. And
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is another one. It's very small, and if they find something, they get acquired.
Yeah.
Again, similar story.
Yeah, another one. Back into a high time frame demand zone. Looking like it's holding. Obviously, came a bit deeper on these, but shows the extremities of demand. And then, currently sat on what could be a nice springboard for it.
Yeah. And then another AI data company, another lotto pick. You see, good news, good earnings, it flies. So look at those candles. Every time you approach earnings, the candles are massive.
Oh, wow, look at that. Whoa.
I mean, this one is...
Whoa!
This one is an altcoin chart.
Whoa! It keeps going.
It's nuts, isn't it?
Whoa, hang on a minute. What's going on here?
It'll be dilution day, so it'll have diluted.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's no way something's gone from 20,000 all the way down to 90 cents. That looks mad on a chart, though, doesn't it? That does just never ending then. But yeah, I mean... something, another one,
Again, lotto pick,
cheap
as anything. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But
absolutely,
look at those spikes because it's so small, it just flies. And then I've got a drop in 10 minutes. So Novo Nordisk. This one, I really liked the reversal play. I was saying in the CSE Discord when it began falling off a cliff. So they make quite a famous medication, Ozempic.
Yeah.
So these are the fat loss people. I think it is or was the biggest market cap company in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, I was looking back for a reversal around that $60. It went a little bit lower down to that 57 mark.
Yeah.
Bounced off it a little bit. I think one of the big reasons for it coming off was that because they were struggling because it got so popular so quickly, is there were shortages, and the US has a law where if the government deems a medication, I don't know exact law, but it allows a period of generic medicine to be sold instead of patent,
right.
Which is why Hims absolutely rallied, because Hims was able to sell generic weight loss injections.
Okay, interesting. I think it's fascinating. I mean, there's so many people using that now, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, whichever one, Ozempic, Mounjaro, probably there's a few more knocking around.
Exactly.
But there's so many people. Yeah. So you've got a drop in 10 minutes. Do you want to go through one of the smaller sections? Should we go through the
I'll go through tech. I've got a couple of tech names that we can go through.
Okay. Yeah. That section.
So what do we have in tech? So we've got Okta. Okta, with a K.
Oh, Okta. All right.
Yeah, Okta. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okta. We have ARM, ARM.
Yeah.
We've got RGTI.
Yeah.
We've got AMD.
Yeah.
And we have, is it QUPT? QUIT? Oh, I've forgotten the ticker of it. We'll get that one up. But that's another. No, I've forgotten the ticker for it. It's
What's
not
the
on
name
list.
of it?
It's Quantum. So type in Quantum. QUBT. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go top down. So yeah, Okta.
Okta. They do some cybersecurity stuff. This one, a little bit of a gamble, but I thought that we see that big drop off when they missed. Their guidance was a bit lower, so we saw where that E was from the all-time high. They missed. They didn't miss their earnings actually. I think they hit their earnings, but they gave some not particularly good guidance. This was sort of in the height of like tariff land. In a reversal play, I think I'm not looking at this as a long-term hold. I'm looking at this potentially sort of scale into a CFD and look to scale out again once it gets back to sort of that 120 region.
Yeah. Very nice. ARM.
ARM, yes. So ARM is quite famous. So it's a British company they're the only company in the world that do what they do. There's a set specification on chips. So essentially they license that specification. So every iPhone and every Android phone, etc. in the world run the ARM architecture. It was famous because NVIDIA tried to buy them a few years ago and it was blocked by the regulators to avoid a monopoly. I think NVIDIA wanted to buy them for something. It was a ridiculous sum. I think it was like $100 billion. And it was blocked. Essential. Only they can do what they do. As we see more chips, we might see this go up. But this is another one which you can see how it moves around earnings. And I think that's the key pattern, I'd say, with people if they want to get into. So you've got obviously holding stocks for the capital appreciation, but to catch some of these waves, it's centered more around earnings. So we see look, it sort of didn't hit where it wanted to in that earnings in February, grinded down, and then we see more positive earnings last time out, and it begins that rally back upwards. But as you can see, every time it's had earnings, bar that one time, it's rallied.
Yeah.
So we see a massive rally all the way back in 2024. All throughout, actually, every earning in 2024, they rally, pull back, rally, pull back. I think if you're ever in doubt, zoom out and look at the big time frames. You can just see quite a good pattern. A lot of consolidation around the area we're in now. If we're going all the way back to that sort of early 2024, again, draw a box in. We're in that box. If we break above that box, we may rally up towards $200. But there's evidently quite strong support if we go down below $100.
Yeah, absolutely.
RGTI, quantum computing, very, very volatile. So this is another one fun to trade. Kudos to anyone who bought in 2024. I didn't. Well, I did. I bought in towards the end of 2024. So I was like mid up that rally, but that rally was insane. If anyone caught that rally,
that is unbelievable, isn't it?
Again, super low cap.
It's like a 25x in like a month and a half, a 25x, unbelievable. Yeah,
but stuff this, when you see the early stage stuff, is they'll rally like that. They'll sell a lot of shares to raise equity, to raise some capital, and then it's what they do with that capital. quantum computing is in the crosshairs at the minute. So again, bit of a lotto play, but as you can see, when it moves, it moves.
Yeah, really nice.
AMD.
Yeah, this one.
I spoke about this. We spoke about this when I was on stream before, didn't we? So you're starting to see AMD catch up with Nvidia in terms of the chips, and you're seeing that in some of the deal flow.
Right.
So OpenAI have just announced a deal for AMD chips. So I think we might be in a period now. I know, when we typically look at like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and how those two sort of work together and the flows between them.
Yeah.
And Solana ETH. I think we see some of this with Nvidia and AMD. So are we seeing a rotation out of Nvidia and into AMD?
Yeah.
Potentially so. They trade on a lower multiple. Yeah. If it catches up with Nvidia, it flies. If we see Nvidia money move, this one again, look at it, nuts. Again,
insane,
RGTI.
Like insane returns. Like even, obviously that one is fantastic. But I mean, even, buying in March, April, you're up comfortably 4 or 5x.
Yeah. Clears out that top liquidity, comes back. I think where I'd be looking at this, I have a little bit of a bag anyway that's doing quite well, but I'd be looking around that sort of $10 mark. That sort of $10 to $12 mark is, I think, where we could come back to retest.
Yeah, it looks right, that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right in there, yeah. Looks really juicy.
Fantastic. Right, I've got to shoot now, Dave. But,
no worries, mate. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll leave the others until you next come on. So I think we had a couple more sections, didn't we? But we've
got energy, and I love energy. And energy adds that sort of, for me, energy always adds that extra dimension because I use that for income. So I've got a lot of really good energy picks. That's probably like one of my largest holdings in terms of like names and variety of tickers because I just put a load of different stuff in there. So yeah. And
but we'll
go
leave
through my thesis
the
on
next
that,
one, and we'll run through the energy ones when you next come on. That'll be good.
But yeah, anyway, I hope everyone found that relatively useful.
That
and
was great.
Be very careful on this triple witching Friday. It's going to be nuts. 4 billion of Bitcoin and Ethereum options expiring, and even more options from the rest of the market expiring. And it's after a non-trading day, so it's going to be nuts. That final hour is going to be even more nuts. The final hour of a triple witch Friday is nuts. The triple witch hour is nuts. So make sure you stay in front of your screens tonight, and you'll get some opportunities to trade.
Yeah, thanks very much,
everybody,
mate.
Later.
That was great. Thank you very much for spending your time with us.
No problem. See you later, Dave.
Bye, mate. Bye. And that was Wiz. Right, I'm just going to run to the toilet quickly because I've drank a lot of liquid today with it being hot. So then when I come back, we will run through, get ready. We're only 5 minutes away from US Open, so we'll see. But don't go anywhere. Obviously, I'm on for another half an hour. Wait there. All right, I'm back and we're ready for US Open, aren't we? We've got 3 minutes to go. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. Anyway, that was absolutely fantastic of Wiz to come on and run through stock picks with us. And we'll see what we get on US Open. Yeah, like he said, you know, it's definitely going to be an interesting day. Definitely going to be an interesting day. That's for sure. With the market being closed yesterday. And, of course, the moves that we've had pre-market. Yeah, the S&P is 1.5% up. I mean, look at it go. It's absolutely ripping as we lead into this market open. Bad news is I've just drank the rest of my drink, so now I'm going to have to deal with dry mouth until we come off stream. But let me know in the chat. Short Video Guru says, might sell half my circle at current price. I mean, yeah, if it's at your target, mate, then, you know, do as you planned, I suppose, is the only thing you can do, innit? If you don't, then, you know, you may end up kicking yourself. You didn't follow your plan. Let's see, where is it? Insane, 234 now. This must be entering like this must be entering like the euphoria phase on. Oh, we're open. Have I got my camera on? Yeah. It's being sold into already, isn't it? I think this is definitely something for us to watch here. Definitely something for us to watch. Weeble, bloody hell. Circle. As it's just opened. Right. Now, let's see what Coinbase is ripping to the upside. 308. I think 3, 4. I'm gonna try and I don't know whether to try and short that on CFD or what. What's everyone think? What's everyone thinking? Let me know in the chat what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. I think I'm going to try and do this. Now, I don't know exactly how, but let's go and have a look anyway. So, circle. Oh, so there's my margin used. Right. There you go. So I've just sold some circle. I don't know at what price. Let's see how it goes anyway. Would have been good if I would have got it up there. Let's see how it goes anyway. Might end up making a few shillings. So far, I'm up £2.59. Short video guru, have you ended up selling your circle? Make it go down for me. Hey, I'm up a £5 now. Whoa. Up £7. Ah, this is nice, this. Up a tenner. Hey, if this keeps going down, I might make a nice few shillings here. You never know. I'm up a tenner so far. I don't know at what price I got in. I don't know. Oh, 223. 223 I sold at 223. Shame I didn't get it all the way up here, but I mean, 223 there. I mean, if it comes all the way down here, that might actually be a decent little trade. We'll see. Anyway, let's move on from that. Yes, 50%. Yeah, I think I'm going to hold on to this, see what happens. I think this is one where you just kind of hold it, don't you? Like, this looks massively overpriced. If you believe it anyway. And just kind of go with it. Bitcoin is falling off a little bit anyway, but you know, we do have obviously a low time frame range on Bitcoin built around here, don't we? This is where demand is, low time frame. Then we have obviously resistance up here. So, you know, we break one end of this and then naturally we'll take direction. Let me know in the chat what you'd like me to run through anyway. Make sure you do smash a like on today's stream. Obviously, something a little bit different. We spent most of the time running through some stocks. But Bitcoin is pushing a little bit to the downside. If you are looking to trade Bitcoin or altcoins, make sure you sign up to BLOFIN. It's first link in the description. I've just thrown it in the chat as well. Yeah, Circle's being pummeled, isn't it? I think, is this where people, you know, longer term, say longer term, it only IPO'd it, but, you know, everyone who's in profit, is this where they start to take profit? Because we could find it quickly back down towards like 140, couldn't we? You know, if that ends up being the top, that would be a 38% pullback, but, you know, it's massively overpriced. In, obviously, mine and Wiz's opinion, anyway. Right, Bitcoin's now breaking the range to the downside. So obviously we consolidated in here. We're now breaking to the downside. So I think a retest of around 105k area, obviously we'd come and fill all this in, is potentially on the way. But, you know, over in TradFi, the S&P is ripping. And we have the Magnificent Seven all up. Obviously, some are up very slightly. Nvidia's up, you know, near enough to break even. But Apple up 1.65% today. We've got Meta up 0.5%, Microsoft up 0.5%, Amazon up 1%, Tesla up nearly 2%, and then Google staying flat alongside Nvidia as well. Coinbase has retraced its open pump mostly. Circle is now up just 7.6% on the day. Bitcoin is absorbing all of that sell pressure now. So it looks like, as it stands, it's just come and done a liquidity grab below, obviously, anyone who'd longed at any point over the past, you know, 5-6 hours and put the stops below there. It's come and done a liquidity grab and it's fully reversed. So that is obviously great to see if we are looking for upside Bitcoin price action. But yeah, let me know in the chat what you'd like me to look at. Let me know what you'd like me to cover for those of you that are still around. Bitcoin is fully reversed. Oh, and now we're starting to push the upside. Are we going to go after topside liquidity next? Obviously, the S&P is just ripping continuously. Let's see how the Wiz stock picks are doing from today. Anything noteworthy? Some have opened up. CoreWeave up again. AMD's up 4%. Some of them doing quite nice. It's good to have them on there because we can keep an eye on them as well. Peanut is doing fantastic, up 10%. So what happened to Peanut in the end? We didn't quite get down to where I was looking, did we? Sundog up 13, nearly 14%. Really nice pump on that today. Apart from that, it looks like most of the memes we've got on the watch list are just flat. Interesting price action on Bitcoin. We are now pushing back into the low time frame range low. Hey, afternoon, Sean. How we doing, mate? Great to see you. Great to see you. Why is it so quiet? The summer effect? Yeah, maybe. Might be. You know, we're deep underway now, aren't we, into the summer months. It is also that triple Witching Friday, which Wiz was talking about, so maybe that's it. There's like loads and loads of options and other sorts of stuff expiring today in TradFi. And obviously there is Bitcoin and Ethereum options expiring today as well. So maybe that's one reason. But, I have shorted Circle SMFC. Did you jump into it or not? It's getting slammed on open. You got any trades on apart from shorting Circle? No. But I think one thing we're going to bring into the stream next week, let me know in the chat if you'd be excited about this, is if I start scalping on stream. So if we can start maybe, scalp trading on stream, maybe we can, utilize the channels or the background color change on US Open. Maybe some of them things. Would you be interested in seeing that? Let me know in the chat if you would. But yeah, I'm currently short on Circle, and that is it. And I'm not massively short on it either because I don't know 100% on how to... I've got a better idea now on how to do them CFDs. So yeah, maybe I should have opened a bigger one, but not massively experienced with it yet. So I was kind of being a bit cautious, but I have shorted it from 223. So I will mark it out. And so... there you go. You can see exactly where I'm short on Circle if you want. Nah, mate, not been looking at much, to be honest. I need to sit down and get them all on a short list. Sean, having a good old sunbathe watching the market do absolutely, yeah, I know. I mean, this thing, it just, for me, it just, obviously it's pumped massively on it, and it pumped massively into the open again today. It just looks so overvalued and just overstretched, doesn't it? I mean, look, it's right above as well on the 1 hour. Look what happened the last time. So on the 1 hour, obviously, there's not a load of price action to go off, but obviously Stonksy channel started going on after it had some price action to read. But look at the last time we overstretched into the outer band. We pulled back. We're now overstretched into the outer band. Hopefully we pull back because that would be a nice little bit of pocket money for me. I mean, I just don't see how this thing could carry on because there's literally nothing that's like kind of driving it apart from obviously the stable coin bill that got passed last week or earlier this week. Apart from that, there's literally nothing driving this upside now after IPO. So I just don't see it. But yeah, I mean, that the way that the price behaved when we touched the outer channel last time, and now we're doing it again this time, is a very nice pattern. Hell yeah, do the scalps. Okay, yeah. Well, that's definitely something that we can start from next week. Scalping on stream, and obviously you guys can help me. Maybe, actually, I tell you what would be fun is obviously we'll do scalping on stream, but whatever the poll says, I'll then take a position going into US Open. So that would actually be quite fun. So whatever the poll says for up or down, I'll then take a position into US Open and see obviously if the majority of you guys were right in voting. That would be a bit of extra fun, wouldn't it? So we'll do that as well. We'll obviously do some scalping on stream. Maybe we could even look to do some swing trading, obviously depending on the volatility. But when we next get a big Bitcoin move, if we come into a level, obviously for long or short, that we all, we think, this is decent risk reward, this for a swing. We could also do some swing trading and leave that open in the background. So we'll do that as well. But yeah, I think the scalping, the taking a trade based on the poll, and then obviously, yeah, looking for them high time frame opportunities whenever they come in. But yeah, this short on Circle is going quite nice. It's up 14% so far. So hopefully this is going to pay for some of my weekend beers. Hopefully. We'll see. I think it's got a long, long way to go down on it. Long, long way. Yeah, let's see. I mean, Bitcoin. So now, oh yeah, so we're falling to the downside now on Bitcoin. I think this is potentially one direction that we could take on Bitcoin. Come in for an SR test. Obviously, we'd fill in a lot of this big old candle as well, and then head on to the upside, maybe through the weekend or whenever. But definitely, I think it's something to keep an eye on. Let me know in the chat anyway. Would you be, obviously, I know Jeff has said, anyone else be excited for doing that on stream? I hope people took profit on the bot. Says SMFC. I told people to set their levels. More down on this. More down. More down. More down. More down. I want to see it all the way down at 150 by the end of the session. I've sold this now. I've sold it just below break even. I can't be bothered with it anymore. This, I guarantee you, watch what happens now. This thing will end up ripping, but I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Not going into this weekend anyway. Could get anything over this weekend, couldn't we? But yeah, I mean, on Bitcoin particularly, I think a retest of around 105 you'd like to think anyway, would provide a good SR test for upside. I mean, the S&P is now selling off after pumping into the open. Pumped on open. It is now selling off. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting slammed. Getting absolutely slammed, isn't it? Oof. Oh, it's turning nasty. Oh, it's turning nasty. Oh, it's turning nasty. So getting a bit sour. We want this, don't we? Oh, we want this. I think whether we get it or not is a different question, isn't it? But what's happening? I mean, the thing is, we'll watch this. We'll scroll through the market and literally everything will have the same pattern. You ready? Same pattern. Same pattern. Literally, nothing has changed. I mean, obviously everything's a little higher than when we've been looking, but everything is the same pattern. Some things are actually showing a bit more strength against Bitcoin now. Like particularly some of them. Oh, they're not the same. To be fair, they're not the same pattern. But some things are actually showing some more strength against Bitcoin, aren't they? Peso's up 5%. Anyway. Yeah. No, I mean, Bitcoin's bouncing back pretty nicely, innit? What's this thing doing? Boo! 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 Yeah. Do make sure, drop a big like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe. Of course, check the links in the description. Sign up to BLOFIN, create your non-KYC account. But also, of course, make sure you sign up to Stonksy for 20% off. That is still running. I longs testing the scalping on the 3-minute. Very nice, very nice. But yeah, hope you're all having a nice week. Gonna have a nice weekend. Hope you have a nice Friday night. Obviously, enjoy yourselves. I don't know if I'll be on Sunday because I am out on a full day of drinking tomorrow. I'm out literally from like 12 o'clock all day and all night. So I don't know if I'm going to be in any fit state to jump on a stream on Sunday night, to be honest. I might have to take this one off. But, you know, whether I'm here or not, make sure you obviously have a great weekend. Make sure you come back on Sunday. And for those of you in Stonksy, make sure you get into the Discord. You should do a stream on Saturday night. No chance. I'm not taking my laptop out with me. I'll end up losing it. not a stream for the Stonksy channel. That's in the pub, is it? After about 10 pints. But yeah, thanks for joining, everyone. Have a good one, and I'll see you all next week, and we'll see what the market is bringing us. Bye for now.